We're not done with our conversation about the environment, especially the effect that is affected by the release of water from the Oyan Dam. I've been joined in the program now by the Commissioner for Environment in Ogun State, Mr. Ola Arasanya. He joins us via Zoom. Mr. Arasanya, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Maybe the first thing to do is, I'm sure you listened to the gentleman that just left, we just finished speaking to. Maybe your quick response to some of the things they've raised as far as this issue is concerned. One of which is they're concerned about the change in the volume of release of water and what this dynamics does in terms of displacement and their property.
Well, let me start by first sympathizing with the residents of this area, which is a flood-prone area. That's the Sherry area. And I really appreciate the sincerity of comment from Mr. Falabi that when most of them move into that area, many of them are now aware of the true situation of the area where they're moving into. So in eagerness to have a home, they believe so much in the marketing strategies of these real estate people, and that they moved into their areas. So it is only after they moved there that they started seeing the realities. Well, I just cannot but pity some of them, because these are lifetime earning that have been invested in this area. And that is what informed our kind of a commitment from the government side to make sure that, look, we don't need to leave our people to continue to lament every year. But then, from what Mr. Smith also said, you can see the energy being dissipated by residents into going to dam, going to Lagos, going everywhere, going to find out facts about. So many of them cannot sleep. Basically, their property, their life, they are threatened. So on our side in government, yes, we're not leaving them to their fate. And I'm glad you heard him about all the various interventions that gone to the area. Just like Mr. Smith alluded, I want to allude to what Mr. Smith said about the fact that the dredging that we did is not a silver bullet, truly. Yes, it is a first step towards a medium and long-term solution to make that area livable. That area is basically a floodplain. It's an area that reticulates the flood from the Atlantic Ocean and also from the inland water. So that is where you have the convergence of two major natural events. And this event has got to do with the gradual release of water from dam. Dam are not supposed to hold on to water for life. No. The dam is supposed to regulate how water is released. If for anything at all, the dam is to assist in preventing flood downstream. And which I want to tell you that the Oyan Dam has been doing that. I monitor them almost on a daily basis too, because of this problem. That area is one of my major areas every day. So, and what our people just need to listen to? They need to listen to government more. And we told them that, whatever, even the dredging that we've done is not the final solution. It's going to relieve, it's going to be a palliative solution, which Mr. Adams, which Engineer Adams, Engineer Smith just said. But what they need to do is to know that for you to remain in the floodplain for this period, either you move out, just like my colleague in Lagos said during the week, and which we have been saying, and I was there last week. I was at that community last week with the members of the House of National Assembly. I met with most of their leaders, and we told them that they're going to have this devastation this last weekend, because the tide as at October 18 was going to rise to above 1 meter level at the Atlantic Ocean. It's right there online. They need to read that. So I was there to tell them that within 1 week, from 18th of October to the 25th, 26th of October, they're going to have that surge. Unfortunately, annually, by this period where you have this highest level of tide tidal fluctuation. That is when you have the flow from the northern part of Nigeria coming into the Oyan Dam and the Ikere Dam also, okay? And water must be released. If they don't release that water from Oyan Dam, and God forbid us having the kind of fatality, the problem we had at the Alau Dam in Borno State, it can tear up the dam. And if any issue happens to the integrity of that dam, nobody can stay even where we are talking right now. What we are saying right now is still good. That dam must not be damaged. So, erring on the side of caution from the dam managers, I don't want to fault them on that. Yes, they released close to 20 million cubic meter, which I monitor myself. Yes, quite unfortunate, but that was the volume of water they received, which they cannot retain. They have to release that water gradually, and that's the best they could do. So I just want our people to endure this, listen to the advisory, leave the place or elevate. We've said several, leave that place or elevate. What we are saying right now is good. In the next 2-3 months, water will not be there. The real estate agents will come again, and they start flooding the place. They start telling you, oh, it's contiguous to Lagos. Oh, come and buy. That's the way they've been doing it. So I think maybe that's just 1 or 2 comments to what they've said. You just have to listen to the advice. Those of you who are by that riverside, leave the riverbank or elevate. If you can, and elevating yourself is not an immediate solution. It's not an immediate thing.
So we could pick up on so many things that you have said, especially from what Mr. Smith also said while he was on the show. But let's piggyback a bit. These communities have been developing, these communities in the Isheri area have been developing over the last 2 decades or so, even though some of them may not have done their due diligence before moving in. But government also holds the responsibility, of helping to manage the flood challenge that has bedeviled them over the last couple of decades. The question is, why hasn't government prioritized those interventions, particularly the ones that Mr. Smith talked about, building dikes, elevating the roads such that, they can prevent an overflow of the water? Why hasn't government prioritized some of these interventions that would mitigate the impact of the flood challenge on their communities?
Well, I would not want to excuse the government from some of the knowledge gaps of the past, because even government has estates there. Ogun State has an estate there, and Lagos State has an estate in that area. The project started about over 20 years ago when the development of the Isheri North estate started, and that was the first time people who bought the land there saw that, look, this is real water. I recall I have a friend who bought a house there when the house was he got the house and he had to move out of the area. So there's a knowledge gap in government too in the time past. Government is a continuum. We have inherited that problem, and we are rising up to it. One thing I need to tell you, the interventions that we've decided right now, because we've done a lot of study now, and those interventions, some of them are immediate, and that one we have done, that's the dredging, which Mr. Engineer Smith said. We've done the dredging, and the dredging is a palliative. Then there are medium-term issues, all right? Developing that dike is not going to happen overnight. Developing the dike is, you have to do a lot of studies, you have to know the dike that you want to build the height, and you have to do a lot of engineering studies. That might take you, at best, 5 years, okay? But I can tell you what is going on fast on that. And that is the reason why the National Assembly team came last week, all right, to see how to appropriate funds for the design of that dike. They were there, and I followed them there last week, okay, to talk about how to make that place secure. We talked about Vienna, we talked about Venice, and the rest of them. These are not overnight development.
But Mr. Resaya, if it's going to take 5 years, there was budget for the Ministry of Environment in Ogun State and in Lagos State over the last 5 years. I believe you were also Commissioner for Environment in the last tenure of Governor Dapo Abiodun. Why wasn't these areas prioritized in the budget such that, you know, they can begin to find comfort in their residences subsequently?
Well, I told you about the intervention of Ogun State. That means there was budget, there's appropriation, all right? And I'm sure the community can allude to this also. There was an appropriation for it, and the Ogun State government moved in swiftly to do that palliatives, all right? And that has given relief now. The water is going to recede, and the canal we created there is what we call, Mr. Engineer, we talked about the water going down from yesterday, and that's exactly what I said, that from 25th, you will start seeing the water going down, okay? And that's the canal that we have created. Otherwise, if the time passed, the water will retain there for months, okay? And that will not happen again. So we've done the appropriation. The other area is that it's not the state alone that will do this intervention. It's an it's a transboundary problem. It's not just coming from Ogun State. It's not just Lagos State. It comes almost from other states up north. So it's a national problem, and that the Mr. President has approved that something must be done. That is why you have the National Assembly, ministers, everybody coming, and the money is being appropriated right now by the National Assembly. I can assure you that.
Mr. Rosen, as we begin to wind down, I was very concerned when a chairman of an estate said he moved in without knowing exactly what he was moving into. So I don't know whether to blame it on the individuals not doing due diligence or blame it on government of not maybe putting up some regulation or standard to the people that are selling this property, especially the developers, to be able to put a clear picture of what the people will be walking into, because this looks like a recurrent decimal that they have to live with for a very long time.
Well, I think with this problem that we're having, yes, I want to agree with you that we need to be more dynamic from a regulatory point, the government side. I want to agree with you on that side for government. Then for our people, please search. Search. Your hard-earned money, you search. Before you buy an item, search. Land search. It doesn't take you more. These days, you just go online. Government is available online. Most of these are Ministry of Housing in Ogun State, Ministry of Physical Planning. They will tell you. They will give you advice before you buy some of this land. So we will scale up on our own regulatory responsibility in government. And I want to plead with our people, before you invest in your hand-earned money, ask questions at the right quarters.
So what are the people, so maybe just, I know you said it in bits, but at the end of the day, this is the reality they are facing. And so what at the end of the day would you be telling the people who, he said he couldn't even face some of the people that are living in the area because they've had assurances and all of that. What stronger assurance are you giving to them, and what is the timeline of this assurance, at least to reduce the impacts of whatever has been released from the dam?
Well, I'm sure many of residents there probably be listening to this program, they'll be watching this program, and they can tell you that we have never left them for once. So the first side of reassurance is that are we available for them? Yes, we are in this together. Now, the second side is that what are we doing? We've started what we say we're going to do. The next level from Ogun State level is to increase the the road level. But the road level, we have to work with the datum, and we have to work in synergy with the federal government. And the federal government, through the Ogun River Basin Development Authority, the Federal Ministry of Environment, Water Resources, all of us are working together to make sure that, and Lagos State government, to make sure that we solve this problem permanently. But I can tell our people, please, until when the solution is there, just when you know, we will always give you advice. Like I said, what you are seeing today, I came to the estate last week, and I spoke with the estate chairman and many of our people that this is going to happen this weekend. Listen to the advisory, leave, even if it's just for a few days, and come back until when we are able to solve the problem permanently. But I can assure you that there's no problem with that solution. Solution will come, and we are in this together.
Mr. Ola Oresanya, Commissioner for Environment of Ogun State, thank you so much for coming on the program, and we hope that the government will do what they promised to do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
We will take a quick break. When we come back, it will be time to talk with the guy that calls himself Jester. He's a comedian. Join us again.